Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1FM, 990 AM, WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sandhills. It is time once again for Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Steve Leader Adams. And don't forget, of course, this program also being seen around the world on our live video stream. That's available right now at talk973.com. Top middle of the page is the link. If you're on your mobile device, YouTube will do the work. You just put Mornings with the Leader Man into your search. And if you're on a mobile device just needing a crystal clear digital audio stream, we suggest the streaming platforms like TuneIn, iTunes, Streama. Many others will work also. They're free and available at your app store. Just put WEEB into the search. And as always, you can get our stream off of our website, any page, at talk973.com. Upper right-hand corner of every page has the link that says Listen Live. Tap that icon, and you're listening just that quick. Weather for us today here in the Sandhills, well, it's going to get rainy before it's all said and done. We might see some light rain late this afternoon, but the real rain will come tonight. Look for a high today of 51, tonight 42. Now, rain could fall any time. We got some showing up on the radar right now, but it'll be of the light nature. It won't be a washout. It's not an all-day rain thing. Tonight will be your heaviest rain. Then tomorrow, you may see some drizzle, otherwise cloudy with a high of 58. Tomorrow night, a slight chance of showers again, a low of 53. Sunday, still a chance of hit-and-miss showers, otherwise mostly cloudy, 75. Sunday night, mostly cloudy, scattered showers, a low of 64. And for Monday, some remnants might be around with the showers, otherwise partly cloudy, and 65. Tuesday, mostly sunny, 59. Wednesday, partly cloudy, 59. And rain moves back in for, well, a slight chance of rain moves back in for Thursday with a high of 70. Man, we're going to skip the 60s and go straight to summer. That's what it's looking like. Right now, winds are east-northeast at 5, visibility 10 statute miles. Pressure is 30-28. Dew point is 28. Let's bottle that and hold that for the rest of the summer, shall we? Humidity 60%. It's cloudy, 41 degrees currently here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And for those of you that don't know what I mean by the dew point and what it means is anytime you got a dew point below 63, it's comfortable to us as human beings. It's a combination of heat and temperature is what it is. They come up with a dew point. And the lower the dew point, the better the atmosphere feels on your skin. 63 being the max that you want to feel. Then when it gets between, still got a remnants of a cold, so I'm having a sneeze once in a while. So when you are between 64 and 68 on the dew point scale, that's starting to get sticky, but tolerable. And then when you get above 68 on the dew point scale, it's muggy, ugly, and you don't want to be out there. That's when the second you walk out, you feel like Mother Nature wraps you in a hot, wet sponge. And just keeps it that way. There's no spot to cool in. It's just sticky. Yucky. And the hotter it is, the worse it feels. So that's why the dew point number becomes the most important number in all of summer. Because the temperature doesn't matter. That dew point is down 63 or lower. You can handle any temperature out there. That's in North Carolina anyway. It may feel hot, but it won't feel ridiculously hot. You don't get the compounding effect of the humidity. So remember, everything below 63, good. Everything above 63, bad. All right. It is 7:33, 33 past the hour on this. What is this? Friday morning. Man. You get up early every day, man. You start to sound like a retiree. What day is it? You know, a lot of times, I can't tell you how many times I've talked to a retiree and they don't even know what day it is because they don't go to work and they don't have something to lock in on. They just know it's another day retired. Okay, where are we? We are here. All right, let's get into the sound bites this morning. Daylight Savings Time, by the way, begins this weekend. Bob Dylan is here to help us to celebrate springing forward.
Go change all your watches and clocks in your home. 1 hour ahead, spring forward, you know. It's daylight savings wherever you roam.
This song is not valid in Arizona and Hawaii.
'Cause the times they are a-changin'.
Okay. Man, I hit the wrong button. That's why that thing stopped. Trying to do too many things at once. Got a late start this morning. I don't know why. Seems like I was in slow motion, and I'm running like 5 minutes behind on everything I do today. But we'll make it. All right, get back to my audio bites here. Let's see. Line them back up, Steve. Here we go. All right, daylight savings time doesn't say, well, here's the truth about daylight savings time.
This is breaking news.
This just in. In a recent nationwide survey, it has been revealed that daylight saving time doesn't actually save anyone any daylight or time at all.
This has been breaking news.
All right, nice to know. And, of course, Gramps is here to put his 2 cents in.
What in the gold dang world's going on around here? I can't stand this daylight saving time and having to change all my clocks twice a year. Why? It ain't saving me any time at all. In fact, it's costing me time because I have to reset the clock on my microwave and VCR. Back in my day, we didn't have any stupid daylight saving time. We had a rooster. And when you cockle-doodle-doo, that meant you get your butt up because you're wasting daylight time. And we didn't have to set our clocks. We looked at the sun. And when it went down and it was dark, it's time to quit. Those were the days. Now we got all the fancy appliances we have to change up all the time because some stupid person came up with some stupid idea. Spring forward or fall back. I got an idea. Why don't you just drop dead?
All right. Always the encouraging word from Gramps. Captain Marvel, it opens this weekend. You got your tickets yet? But there's another movie about a woman that has some personal powers of her own. Once a month. Check it out.
She's the superhero you do not want to mess with, especially 1 week out of the month. Now playing in theaters everywhere, Crampin' Marvel. Blasting energy rays at, well, pretty much anybody who looks at her funny. Crampin' Marvel is fighting for truth, justice, and a pint of Haagen-Dazs. She's glad to serve mankind, glad to be a role model to women everywhere, and especially glad that her pants have a little stretch in them. She's Crampin' Marvel. And if she catches wind of this ad, she'll probably rip your face off.
Okay. While I do nothing, Congress continues to do nothing now that it's in the hands of the Democrats. Yesterday, they debated in the House of Representatives if this is true over whether Nickelback sucks. It's true. It's between Republican Rodney Davis of Illinois and Democrat Mark Pocan of Wisconsin. Both took a jab at him.
In 2016, when the census and the Federal Register asked for comment on this, 77,000 people did comment. Only 4 wanted to keep this provision. Everyone else wanted to change this out of 77,000. That's probably about the percent of people who think Nickelback is their favorite band in this country. It's pretty low. And I think if you look at it, Nickelback's your favorite band. I apologize to the gentleman.
Why would you criticize one of the greatest bands of the 90s?
Wow. All right. One more reason why there's a difference between Democrats and Republicans clearly found on the floor of Congress today.
I stand here to say at my colleague from Wisconsin. I know he did not mean to offend the many thousands upon thousands of Nickelback fans in his district in Wisconsin. I'll stand here to save you from doing that and have to face the political consequences at the ballot box. I enjoy debating back and forth, and it's always good to have some good humor on the floor of the House. And yes, I actually do have a Nickelback song on my running playlist that I listen to on a regular basis, and was ridiculed by that when I posted my playlist one time. And I know some in this chamber, even up at the dais, are still laughing about that.
Mm-hmm. And you wonder why the people's business just cannot get done. Because of all the stupidity on the floor of the House. Speaking of dumb things, what's the dumbest thing you've heard someone say in public? Someone online asked people to name the dumbest things they've ever heard someone say in public. And responses are great, like, it's pretty crazy that Black Friday actually falls on a Friday this year. One animal is a ham. Phones don't run on electricity. They run on batteries. Just some of the dumbest. Here's some more.
From behind me, a young woman of 25 uttered the dumbest thing I'd ever heard in my life. She said, if it weren't for my horse, I wouldn't have spent that year in college. I'll repeat that. I'll repeat that because that's the kind of sentence, when you hear it, your brain comes to a screeching halt. And the left-hand side of the brain looks at the right-hand side of the brain and goes, it's dark in here, and we may die. She said, if it weren't for my horse, giddy up, let's go, I wouldn't have spent that year in college, a degree-granting institution. Don't think about that sentence for more than 3 minutes or blood will shoot out your nose. I wonder, was she riding the horse to school? No, she wouldn't be riding the horse to school. Maybe it was a polo pony. She had a polo pony scholarship. Maybe she sold the horse, and that's how she was betting on it. What the? And then you realize that anybody who went to college would never say anything that stupid in public. And as soon as you have that thought, your eyes close, and the next morning they find you dead in your bathroom.
That's Lewis Black, of course. Here's a few more of Lewis Black overhearing dumb things at the mall.
The American medical profession doesn't know why we get an aneurysm. It's when a blood vessel bursts in our head for no apparent reason. There's a reason. You're at the mall one day and somebody over there says the dumbest thing you've ever heard, and it goes in your ear. So you turn around to see if your friends heard it. Because if your friends heard it and you can talk about what the jack said, then it'll be gone. You turn back to find the person who said it, because if you ask him a question like, what the are you talking about? Then it'll go away. But they're gone. And now those words are in your head. And those words don't go away. And your brain goes, let's figure it out! Son of a I wonder what that's about.
Cops in Oregon responded to a crazy guy standing in traffic on Wednesday and had an ambulance take him to the hospital for evaluation. But while the paramedics were loading him in, he got behind the wheel, took off without him, and, of course, started a police chase where he had hit several cars. They finally stopped him with a spike strip and arrested him in front of a school. Here's one of the people he hit.
Well, I got a car right up against me here. I can't get out. And I looked up. My light was still green. Then I realized that he wasn't en route. He didn't have his lights flashing. It was slow speed, just jumbled the cars up on wet pavement. Well, I'm trying to, insurance company, I'm trying to get them to tell me where to have it towed.
He was trying to find second gear, it sounds like. Imagine you're at a real highfalutin party where they serve champagne, and they have that big pyramid of glass. You've seen them, if not in person, on TV or movies, where the rich and famous hang out. But suppose the bartender pops the cork of a champagne bottle, and it accidentally hits. See, there's a trick to opening champagne. You got the amateurish way, which is what this guy did, or the professional way. Now, what's the professional way? Well, of course, you undo the cork and you take the the wire off that holds the cork, can keep it from shooting off. And then you slowly you first turn the bottle at about a 30, 40 degree angle. Not enough so that the fluid's reaching the neck, but just about. And you slowly wiggle the cork out, and it will pop like that, but it will also not fizz out of the bottle. It keeps it from fizzing out with that angle it does. So anyway, but suppose you're an amateur and you pop that cork, goes poof, and away the cork goes, and it hits the top glass of a champagne pyramid. And what happens about 11 seconds into that experience? Yeah, the fun of a string quartet playing at a fancy Russian party. Okay, give you some good news this morning. 5 teenagers in New Jersey pulled an all-nighter on Sunday night, shoveling a neighbor's driveway. It was snowing, and they knew she needed to go to dialysis the next morning. So they had a sleepover, stayed up playing video games, and started shoveling at 4:30 in the morning to make sure her driveway was clear by 6 a.m. Monday morning, let's see. Unfortunately, they didn't get Unfortunately, they did not get a snow day after not much sleep. But the neighbors were pretty emotional about what they found out.
We stayed up playing video games, and I think we were all up 4:30, and I think we finished around 5.
And I looked out the front window, and I'm like, the whole driveway's clear. And then I found out from my husband that there were 4 of them with Patrick. Yeah, 5? There were 5 of you?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Just wanted to help out his neighbor, help do some good, do a good deed.
Once we safely got to the house, no more driving, I think all the parents kind of relaxed.
The snow was getting lighter as we were shoveling, but it was still really cold. And my mom was like, it's snowing out, you're not going out. And they kept calling me, and I was like, Mom, I gotta go.
I came out here at 6 a.m. The whole driveway was completely clear so I could get out. And I did. And I got to dialysis safely. So he's a wonderful young man. I mean, he's an example of what we have that we never talk about. We never say, look at these kids. Look how good. Look what they do.
All right. Well, by now you've heard bits and pieces of the R. Kelly interview with Gayle King. CBS This Morning aired more of the Gayle King crazy interview with R. Kelly, where he should have sobbed, and well, anyway, he got emotional and started talking about child support. This from the interview.
How can I pay child support? How? If my ex-wife is destroying my name and I can't work, how can I work? How can I get paid? How can I take care of my kids? How?
Your ex-wife
Use your common sense.
Your ex-wife says you abused her, Robert.
13 years being married. Not once have I ever had a domestic violence call at the house and all this, that, and the other.
Is Andrea not telling the truth when she says she was abused by you?
She's not telling the truth. I love her to death. I have nothing against her still. That is my kid's mother.
She's making that up.
You
why?
notice one thing.
Why is she making that up, Robert?
I'm not disrespecting her by saying she's not telling the truth. I'm just being honest. Somebody sent me something on my phone and it said that I hog-tied her. I don't know how to hog-tie people. What would I hog-tie her? My kids is listening to this, all of this nonsense, and I ain't been able to spend no time with them. This is real. This is not a lie. What kind of woman would tear down a dad who's trying to have a relationship with their kids? You know how many kids need a relationship with their father?
What is your relationship with your children?
Oh, my God.
What is your relationship with your children?
0. But I know my kids love me.
And R. Kelly says he only has $350,000 in the bank because people who had access to the account stole from him. This is a common saying amongst those that help manage the rich and famous. Some of it's true. Whether it's true or not here, I have no clue. But when the rich and famous just basically spend on everything they put their eyes on and want to live the ultra-lavish life, well, eventually the pie runs out. But here's his explanation of it.
Your income. It was reported that your income was very high. Hundreds of millions of dollars, we'll say that, because I don't want to get hung up on the semantics.
That's one room I wish that was true.
And yet when you were in jail last week, the bond was $100,000, and they said R. Kelly couldn't even afford to get himself out of jail, that a friend had to come and bail you out of jail. What is your financial situation, if you don't mind saying?
So many people have been stealing my money. People was connected to my account.
Isn't that on you?
A lot of it's on me.
That you didn't know where your money is?
A lot of it's on me.
And people say he doesn't have money because he had to pay so much in settlements. What do you say about that?
Lie. I went by myself for the first time to Bank of America. Didn't know what I was doing. Didn't know what the hell was going on.
When did you do that? First time by yourself?
About 3 weeks ago. I had like $350,000 in the bank. And I told her, take that. I want to start a new account, and that's the way it is, right? So she said, okay, it's going to take 6 to 7 business days to clear.
And he also made sure his girlfriend knew he was listening while Gayle King interviewed them.
His team had told us that R. Kelly would not be in the room. After the interview started, he was around the corner behind them. They couldn't see him. But at points during the conversation, he would cough very loudly like that, so they were aware that he was there.
He wanted them to know that he tried to stop the interview backstage a couple times.
Yeah, a couple of times. Laz, who was taking those amazing photos that you've seen, is my makeup artist. R. Kelly came up to him and said, should I stop this interview? Should I stop this interview? He never did. So the girls at some point were certainly aware that he was there. And I just wanted to say, as a mother, get your things, let's go.
And Gayle King talked to Stephen Colbert about how she stayed calm during the contentious interview with R. Kelly.
When I see Robert getting really upset and he stands out of his seat, my initial reaction is, oh, God, please don't leave, please don't leave, please don't leave. Because I really thought, we've seen him storm out of interviews before, so I thought he was going to do that. And I was thinking, I'm not done with my questions. What can I do to save this interview? So I decided if I sit there quietly, make eye contact with him, I thought the minute I walk up and say, if I stood up, like calm down. You know what it's like when you're upset and somebody says calm down, you go, I am calm. I figured that would make it even worse. So I thought if I just sit there quietly, looking at him, he would know I'm not going anywhere and I'll just wait for you to finish whatever this is, and then you'll sit back down in the seat.
Well, moving on, Michael Jackson back in the news. Being accused of being a pedophile in an HBO documentary they did, Leaving Neverland, where two boys talked about, or young men talked about the abuse they suffered at the hands of Michael. Michael went on trial once for this. And a California jury, liberal as they are out there, found him innocent of the allegations by another young boy. Now, whether he is or not, it'll be up between him and the good Lord. He has the ultimate judgment. But Corey Feldman, who's been defending Michael Jackson earlier this week, because he said his encounters with him were strictly innocent. But now he says he can no longer defend him against horrendous allegations, and he won't judge him either. I think he's trying to play the middle ground because he wants to work again.
It is obviously a very emotional time for me, and this is a very emotional process for any survivor of abuse, anybody that's been through these things, to, first of all, I ask people to put themselves in my shoes. You know, you're a kid who has endured sexual abuse, and during those times, I'm looking to somebody like Michael Jackson as a friend, as a big brother figure, and he was that person to me. However, as you're friends with this guy, all of a sudden you start to hear more and more accusations being thrown around by various people, and it comes to a point where, as an advocate for victims, as an advocate for changing the statutes of limitations to make sure that victims' voices are heard, it becomes impossible for me to stay virtuous and not at least consider what's being said and not listen to what the victims are saying. This is very important. We must give them their voice. We must allow them to speak. And therefore, we also must consider all sides of this, even as uncomfortable as that may be. Absolutely nothing inappropriate ever happened. And we were friends. I mean, but again, I don't want to be perceived as I'm here to defend Michael, because I can no longer do that. I cannot, in good consciousness, defend anyone who's being accused of such horrendous crimes. But at the same time, I'm also not here to judge him, because again, he didn't do those things to me, and that was not my experience.
And all this is over whether or not they're going to play Michael's music. They banned him in New Zealand and in Great Britain. A lot of stations there won't play him, and so forth and so on. It's kind of spreading. What would the world be without some of his songs be like? I mean, yeah, we can all survive not hearing them again, but if it's a song you enjoy, you know, I don't, you know, this PC world is starting to get to me. There's a song I want to hear because it's just like the song. You know, why do I have to care who sang it and what his personal life was? Why can't I just enjoy the song? And same for you. A lot of songs you hear, you don't know who's singing it. You just say, hey, that's a pretty good song. And you don't care about their background or anything else. Oh, tell me about their background so I can decide whether or not I can listen to this song. It's getting too crazy. I mean, what was it up in Virginia? They were debating on whether to remove a Robert E. Lee statue. Even people have gone back into the files. Back in 1993 at a press conference, LaToya Jackson called Michael a pedophile. She later retracted the comment, but here's how it went down.
Michael is my brother. I love him a great deal, but I cannot and I will not be a silent collaborator of his crimes against small, innocent children. And if I remain silent, then that means that I feel the guilt and the humiliation that these children are feeling, and I think it's very wrong. I have seen checks payable to the parents of these children, and I don't know if these children were apparently bought to the parents by Michael or not, but I have seen these checks, and I've seen these checks through my mother. She showed me these checks, and it's for a great amount. The sums are very, very large amounts. And this is my first time talking about it, and I never want to speak about it. I never want to say anything about it. But I think it's sad because I am a victim myself, and I know what it feels like. And these kids are going to be scarred for the rest of their life, and I don't want to see any more innocent small children being affected this way. I love Michael very dearly, but I feel even more sorry for these children because they don't have a life anymore. Now you stop and you think for 1 second and you tell me what 35-year-old man is going to take a little boy and stay with him for 30 days and take another boy and stay with him for 5 days in a room and never leave the room. How many of you out there are 35 years old? How many men are out there? How many would take little kids and do that are 9, 10, 11 years old? I love my brother, but it's wrong. I don't want to see these kids hurt. I've been hurt by it too. My father molested me sexually, and I don't like it. I don't like the way it feels. And to this day, this is my husband, and he can vouch for this. I will not have a relationship with him because of that.
Okay. The Jackson family. Been a pretty big controversy all their lives. All right, coming up on 8 o'clock, next hour, the Colonel will join me. And until then, we'll enjoy all the latest news, sports, and weather. Currently, it's 41 degrees here in the Sand Hills. Humidity 60%. It's 8 o'clock. All your news, sports, and weather starts right now.
We're waking up to an overcast this morning and a slight chance for rain. It's more likely late this afternoon and evening that we'll see the real good rain coming on in. The high in the mid-40s to the north to mid-50s south toward Fayetteville. Rain is likely this evening, but overnight it dries out. It stays cloudy, though, with mid-30s to low 40s. And then tomorrow we have an overcast once again. If we see any rain, it's really in the evening. The high in the low to mid-50s north to mid-50s to the 60s south. I'm Mike Mays in the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
Broadcasting from the top of the North Carolina Sand Hills, 97.3 FM, 104.1FM, and 990 AM, WEEB, Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Aberdeen.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. One Democratic lawmaker's anti-Semitic remarks prompting House Democrats to pass a resolution condemning all forms of bigotry and hate. The resolution, rewritten not once or twice, but 3 times, does not censure the lawmaker who actually made the comments.
It's a very broad document condemning anti-Semitic and anti-Muslim language, white nationalism, racism, and oppression. In some parts, it reads like a lesson in recent history, talking about the Charlottesville March, the synagogue shootings in Pittsburgh, and death threats against members of Congress. The closest it gets to condemning Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is by talking about the insidiousness of anti-Semitic language and claims of dual loyalty.
Capitol Hill correspondent Wally Hines. 47 months in prison, the sentence for Paul Manafort, convicted of tax and bank fraud relating to his work advising Ukrainian politicians. Manafort worked for 3 months as a Trump campaign chairman back in 2016, but White House counselor Kellyanne Conway notes criminal cases against Manafort have nothing to do with President Trump or the White House. And speaking of the president, he's preparing to travel to tornado-battered eastern Alabama. He'll tour the extent of damage, meeting with state and local officials and with some of the victims later this morning. A top 10 fugitive. He was on the FBI's 10 most wanted list, just shy of 5 months, has been captured.
I am proud to announce that after 147 days on the top 10 list, Lamont Stevenson was arrested this morning.
The FBI's Gregory Erie says Stevenson was wanted for killing his fiancée in New Jersey in 2014. Prosecutors say after that, he killed another woman. He was arrested in the Maryland suburbs of Washington, D.C. Economists believe employers added at least 180,000 jobs last month. We'll find out for sure later this morning. The government releasing its February employment report. Wall Street, Dow futures down 128 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Come on, kids. We're late.
Honey, the car won't start.
Mom, the dog just sat on my science project.
Life can be stressful, but getting life insurance shouldn't be. That's why there's Ethos. Ethos is a modern kind of life insurance that's super fast, incredibly affordable, and very uncomplicated. At GetEthos.com, there are no medical exams for policies covering under $1 million, no hours of paperwork or meetings with pushy representatives. It only takes 10 minutes to apply, and you can rest assured knowing you've taken steps to protect your family. And in most cases, with Ethos, you can have that peace of mind for less than a cup of coffee a day with no hidden fees. Having life insurance can free you from stress. Getting life insurance shouldn't cause it. Discover how uncomplicated life insurance can be at Ethos. Get your free instant quote and submit your complete application in minutes. Just go to GetEthos.com. That's ETHOS. GetEthos.com. GetEthos.com.
The Chinese relatives of passengers on the ill-fated Malaysia Air Flight 370 are continuing to seek answers.
Around 40 people have gathered outside the Chinese Foreign Ministry, seeking more information on the missing flight carrying their loved ones. It's been exactly 5 years since the plane disappeared on a journey from Malaysia to Beijing with 239 people on board. A 2-year-long underwater search effort by Australia, China and Malaysia was called off in January 2017. Another attempt attempt made by the US last May also got nowhere. One relative says there are rumours Malaysia might resume the search, but many are disappointed officials are not giving direct responses. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
South Korea and the U.S. have formally signed a deal on Seoul's increased payment for the U.S. troop deployment in South Korea. There are 28,500 American troops stationed in South Korea. News and analysis at townhall.com. A Holocaust survivor says high school students in a swastika photo have now apologized.
Holocaust survivor Anne Frank's stepsister Eva Schloss met in private Thursday with high school students in Newport Beach, California. During a weekend party, they arranged plastic drinking cups into a swastika, some giving Nazi salutes. A photo showed up online. Schloss says the students apologized, but they also tried to downplay what they did.
She just thought it was a joke, sort of a joke, which of course I can't understand.
She says there's a need for more education about the Holocaust, especially the warning, never forget. Schloss and her mother were the only members of their family to survive the camps. Her mother later married Frank's father, Otto. I'm Tim McGuire.
Sports writing great and best-selling author Dan Jenkins has died. His career spanning the era from Hogan to Woods, a manual typewriter to Twitter. He was 89. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Rococo Furniture on US 1 in Southern Pines is your local hometown furniture store. No appliances or electronics, just the finest furniture in Moore County. Roy Hill, Lane, Hooker, Ashley, and other brand names, including Bauhaus Custom Furniture, where you select your fabrics, cushions, and other designs. Open Monday through Saturday, 9:30 to 7, Sunday, 1 to 5. Located on US 1 next to Wild Wings.
Now enjoy the 15% off tag sale on all Rococo furniture. Being overweight is the #1 health problem in America today. It leads to so many avoidable health issues. If you have a weight problem and finally want to do something about it, then do what I did and participate in the Transforming You Weight Loss Program, offered by Dr. Sharon Wright at Wright Chiropractic in Seven Lakes. It's a customized, physician-assisted program based on your body type and your goals. A healthier, more vibrant, spirited, and slimmer you emerges. Now, I lost 25 pounds in the first month and 50 pounds to date. That keeps me motivated. Now, the program is easy to follow. I'm Steve Leader Adams, and if I can do it, you can do it. Give Dr. Wright a call and set up your no-charge consultation about the Transforming You Weight Loss Program at 910-673-2225. That's White Chiropractic at 673-2225.
Eric Cooper here with Cooper Ford, your only locally owned Ford dealership in Moore County. 2018 was a phenomenal year, and we're off to a great start in 19. With 0% available on select models and discounts as much as $15,000, now is a great time to come see us at Cooper Ford and experience for yourself the difference a family-owned dealership can make. Straightforward pricing without all the hassle. I'm Eric Cooper, and I want to know you by name and show you how car buying should be. Please come visit us in historic Carthage or visit us on the web at cooperford.net. Working hard to be your hometown dealer.
This is Hand On Golf live at the PGA Merchandise Show in Orlando, Florida. I'm talking with the Mizuno rep, Chris Sweeney. They're introducing today the new Hot Metal Pro. It's a great club. I plan on getting a set myself.
Thank you, Kim. Yes, the Hot Metal Pro is coming off the success of the Hot Metal, which got up to being the #3 selling iron in the country. So what we've done here with the Hot Metal Pro is we're giving you the same technology, high ball speeds off the face that you have in the Hot Metal, but in a nicer profile package with not much offset, thinner top line. So you're going to get everything that the player wants in the distance category, from look of the iron to performance of the iron. So we should see it soon.
Thank you, Chris. Look forward to seeing it and look forward to get a set myself. They'll be available at Golf Augusta on Highway 1 in Southern Pines.
NCN News. I'm Mike Rayleigh. Former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort is headed to prison for just under 4 years for tax evasion and other charges. CBS News correspondent Paula Reed.
Next week, Manafort will be sentenced here in Washington in a separate case by a judge who has been much tougher on him. And that judge will need to decide whether or not he can serve both sentences at the same time.
There's a new push to allow North Carolina teachers to carry guns in school. Paula Mavinga, a third-grade teacher and president of the Buncombe County Association of Educators, tells WLOS News in Asheville Senate Bill 192, which is also known as a School Security Act of 2019, is a terrible idea.
I honestly think that this is an idea that should never come to pass. The job that is carried out every day by teachers in the classroom is complex enough, and there are decisions after decisions being made by teachers that do not need to be complicated by the decision to use lethal force.
North Carolina lawmakers have introduced a bill that would increase penalties for people convicted of using a weapon to assault or kill any law enforcement officer. The bill is called Connor's Law. It was inspired by NC State Trooper Kevin Connor, who was shot and killed during a traffic stop in October of 2018. Republican Brendan Jones of Columbus County says
it will double the death benefit paid to the family of an officer who has been murdered in the line of duty.
House and Senate members from both parties, as well as Attorney General Josh Stein, promoted what they call the Safe Child Act in a news conference at the Legislative Building on Thursday. Republican Arizona Senator Martha McSally has spoken with CBS News about how she revealed recently that she was raped by a superior officer while serving in the U.S. Air Force. How painful was it to speak up?
It brings back the very real memories and the realities of it all, but I'm glad I did.
You're listening to NCN News.
State lawmakers are cranking up a new legislative session. Everything's on the table. The budget, education, transportation, regulation. What are they doing, and how is it affecting you, your family, your business, your wallet? Carolina Journal helps you find answers. Available each month as a free newspaper. Every day online at carolinajournal.com. Carolina Journal, your #1 source for government news that affects you. Visit carolinajournal.com today.
Who is the North Carolina High School Athletic Association?
We are over 200,000 student athletes.
We are dedicated educators, coaches, and mentors.
We are your neighbors and friends that put on the striped shirts and officiate the games you love every week.
We are 417 member high schools from small towns and big cities, anywhere from Murphy to Manteo.
We are making a difference and building leaders of communities for the next generation.
Who are we?
We are high school.
We are the NCHSAA.
A 39-year-old man wanted for attempted murder has now been charged with first-degree murder in Winnebago County, Illinois. Police say Floyd Brown shot and killed a sheriff's deputy while running from law enforcement. CBS News correspondent Adriana Diaz talks about the case.
The suspect, 39-year-old Floyd Brown, was wanted in at least 3 counties. Police say as marshals executed the warrant, the suspect shot through the door, hitting Deputy Jacob Keltner, who died at the hospital.
Based on the information we have at this point, no law enforcement officers fired any rounds during this incident.
Brown escaped in his car, leading police 2.5 hours south on Interstate 55. He crashed 151 miles from where the shooting began.
The State Department of Health and Human Services has released a report confirming there is no link between coal ash and thyroid cancer. The state officials say reasons for a spike in thyroid cancer cases in Iredell County are not known. Duke Energy spokesman Bill Norton tells Fox 46.
We took that to Iredell County officials and presented it to them, and we hope that gives local residents a lot of peace of mind.
A child 4 years old or younger and 2 other young people are listed among the latest flu victims in North Carolina. In Venezuela, many have been without power since yesterday afternoon amid one of the country's largest power outages in years. More from BBC News correspondent Will Grant.
The capital, Caracas, was plunged into almost complete darkness at the height of rush hour, forcing thousands of workers to walk the journey home. The government of President Nicolas Maduro has blamed the situation on sabotage carried out by the opposition. For his part, the opposition leader Juan Guaido took to Twitter to denounce the situation, saying that light would return once Mr. Maduro was removed from office.
Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
Leave the house with the rain gear this morning. There's just a small chance we could see some rain early on, but it's really later in the afternoon and evening that the rain does become likely, and you'll definitely need the rain gear. Our highs later today in the mid-40s to mid-50s. Tonight, rain is likely this evening, tapering off after midnight, the low in the mid-30s to low 40s, and we keep the clouds for Saturday. Probably about a 20% chance for rain throughout the day, more likely in the evening, with highs in the 50s to about 60. I'm Mike Mays in the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
Right now here in the Sandhills, it's cloudy, 41 degrees. Humidity 62%, dew point 29. Pressure is 33. Winds east-northeast at 5. Visibility is at 10 statute miles. Radar showing some scattered showers out there. 8:13, let's take a look at your Sand Hills news for this Friday morning. After interviewing 4 applicants on Tuesday evening, the Whispering Pines Village Council appointed Alexa Roberts to fill Michelle Lexo's vacant council seat for the rest of the year. 9 residents applied to fill the vacancy, but the interview session originally planned for early February was rescheduled. By the time Tuesday's meeting rolled around, 4 of them were still interested. Roberts is expected to be installed as a council member on Wednesday. She lived in Whispering Pines since 2015, describes herself as a stay-at-home mom, but has been active in community as president of the Sand Hills Farm Life PTA. Last year, Roberts was also a volunteer on the successful campaign to build support for bonds to build 3 new elementary schools. The 4 sitting council members spent about 90 minutes questioning the candidates as a group about their perception of council members' roles and responsibilities, critical issues facing the village, and how they hope to represent their neighbors. After a 30-minute recess, council members reconvened and unanimously selected Roberts from the group. And the Moore County Sheriff's Office reports that Tuesday afternoon, narcotic detectives with the Sheriff's Office had arrested an individual for several drug-related charges. An arrest warrant has been prepared. The arrestees attempted to hang himself while being held inside of an interrogation room at the Rick Ryan Public Safety Center. Immediately, medical aid was rendered, and the arrestee was subsequently transported to First Health in Pinehurst, where he is listed in critical but stable condition. The Sheriff's Office has notified the SBI as this is an active investigation. That's your latest Sand Hills news this morning, but stand by. Here comes your latest in sports right here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM, WEEB. It is 8:16.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. College hoops last night, second round action of the ACC Women's Basketball Tournament in Greensboro. North Carolina topping Georgia Tech 80-73, and number 22 Florida State. They pulled away in the fourth quarter to beat 11-seed Duke 51-41. Today, the Heels will match up against Notre Dame, while the 6th-seeded Seminoles will go against 3-seed NC State. North Carolina College men's programs in play last night. Amari Hilton came off the bench to score 19 and lift North Carolina A&T to a 74-52 win over NC Central. The Aggies were already assured the 2-seed in the MEAC tournament. They'll play Wednesday in Norfolk against the winner of the number 7 and number 10 game. Central, they finished tied for 3rd seed and will play in the opener on Thursday. Elsewhere, Terrell Johnson had 16 points off the bench and helped carry App State to a 72-64 win over Troy. The Mountaineers will close out their regular season tomorrow at home against South Alabama. No official word yet on if Zion Williamson will play for Duke tomorrow in the Tobacco Road rivalry matchup against Carolina at Chapel Hill, but we could get the official word later today from Mike Krzyzewski when he holds his pregame media junket. The Blue Devils visibly struggled in Zion Williamson's absence. Coach K, after the heart-stopping win against Wake Forest on Tuesday, talked about why.
Well, just we're not as good as we are with him. I guess that's the very first thing. You can't put together a well-oiled machine here in a couple practices to play in this conference at a level when you lose a kid like that. And there is no kid like that. He's probably the National Player of the Year. But our guys have fought. You know, he'd love to play Saturday if he's ready. I'm not sure that he'll be ready, but we'll let you know. If Zion doesn't play Saturday, we will have only had our team together for 9 of the 18 conference games.
This is NCN Sports.
There's a new risky scheme circulating in Raleigh that's going to hurt our teachers, state employees, and retirees.
The state treasurer is floating this risky scheme that will cut more than $400 million in payments to your local doctors and hospitals. Those cuts will cripple local hospitals, meaning state employees, teachers, and retirees on the state health plan will have limited access to hospitals and doctors in your community. This risky scheme will cut services. It will take away your choice about who you want to care for you and your family.
If the state treasurer really wants to cut costs to the state health plan, he needs to work with doctors and hospitals to prevent illness, manage chronic diseases, and help folks lose weight and stay healthy.
Healthy employees and retirees will save the state health plan money. Isn't that what the treasurer says he wants?
Let's stop pointing fingers and start working to build a smarter state health plan by protecting patients and supporting the folks who take care of them.
That's the North Carolina way of doing things.
Paid for by Partners for Innovation in Healthcare.
NC State is licking its wounds after suffering a heartbreaking loss at home on Wednesday night to fledgling Georgia Tech. Wolfpack dropped to 8-9 in the ACC, and with one game left in the regular season, head coach Kevin Keats talked about what the loss could mean for his team's chances come tournament time.
You know, I think it's hard to tell. You have to look at it when we finish. I know everybody talks about bubbles and no bubbles. I think you'll be able to get a clear picture after we play Boston College on the road and then obviously when we play in the ACC tournament. But I don't know. I don't think anybody knows because of the new system of the net.
We can't get into the minutia of the net ranking system here because it would just take way too long. But what's worth mentioning is NC State will need to win the regular season finale tomorrow at Boston College just to finish with a 500 record in the ACC. Josh and Zach, NCN Sports.
Good morning, First Casualty Insurance. This is Jared.
Jared, I just rear-ended a brand new Lexus. The guy really looks mad, and I'm sitting in my car with my windows rolled up. What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Wanda, now stay calm. Is anyone injured? Have you called the police?
They just arrived. Oh, Jared, am I in big trouble?
Wanda, you're not in trouble. The officer will need to get some info from you and the other driver. You should go ahead and get out of the car and speak with them.
Okay, if I have to.
When you are finished with the police, give me a call back, and I will help you file a claim so that your car and the other person's car can be repaired as quickly as possible.
Oh, thank you, Jared. You've made me feel so much better. I love First Casualty Insurance.
We represent over 3 dozen outstanding companies. Call us anytime you have an insurance question. We want to be your insurance people. 910-692-8303. First Casualty Insurance Group, Southern Pines. 910-692-8303.
Nights, weekend, and holidays. You know plumbing problems never seem to take time off. And always, they seem to crop up at the worst possible times. And unfortunately, they can't wait hours on end for a solution. The Plumbing Night to the rescue. The Plumbing Night, of course, doesn't take time off either because service is the lifeblood of their organization. Make the Plumbing Night your plumbing service partner and protector. Hopefully, it won't be an emergency when you call, but they're prepared to help if it is. And they won't take an arm and a leg just because it happened at an inconvenient time. Now that's a plumbing night in shining armor, if you ask me. Check them out on the web at theplumbingnight.com or call them 639-5555. That's an easy number. Write it down. 639-5555. Again, that's 639-5555, day or night. I'm Steve Leader Adams, and welcome to another edition of Talk Radio Advertising 101 for Businesses. When you're driving in your car listening to a music station, well, the music tends to be a background service. Don't believe me? Can you name the last 3 songs or commercials you heard? Usually when commercials come on a music station, the listener changes to a station with a similar format. But when talk radio listeners are tuned into a program like Rush Limbaugh, they are in the pay attention mode and will sit through the commercials in order to continue to listen to Rush. This is why talk radio advertising is so effective. Plus, it can complement all your other forms of advertising. So when a listener sees your ad somewhere else, they're more likely to look at that ad since talk radio made them familiar with your company. This helps your company to rise above the competition. Want more information? Call us here at WEEB at 692-7440 and let us help you rise above your competition.
Coming this spring, the Artisan Crafter Mall and Farmers Market will open inside the old Gullison factory on Highway 5 in Aberdeen. It will be the largest venue of its kind in central North Carolina at 75,000 square feet, and the 15 by 15 booths are available now. We're looking for artisans and crafters of all kinds, painter artists, photography, pottery, needlepoint, and unique crafts of all kinds. The Artisan Crafter Mall will also include a huge farmer's market with local fresh produce every day. You may have a flower shop, antiques, collectibles, or other crafts. The Artisan Crafter Mall and Farmer's Market will be open this spring 7 days a week. Email davehoward66@gmail.com or call 910-690-0215. Don't wait. Email davehoward66@gmail.com or call 910-690-0215 to reserve your booth now.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt Zone. Right now, even as you listen to this, there's quite a controversy going on at George Washington University. That university is, of course, located in D.C. A group of students are upset, and they're upset enough for it to make national news. They're not protesting over poor people or child abuse or war or even politics. These little pansies are up in arms, so to speak, over the name of the school mascot. The mascot, as many of you will know, is the Colonials. This is what they have to protest. Out of all the abused spouses and kids and hunger and ills in this nation, this is what they picked. Who failed these kids? Was it their parents? Or you reckon it could have been the education system? I don't want to dismiss their point of view too quickly, so listen to this. The young lady who's leading the protest had this to say. Well, we have to consider how these colonies were set up and who lived there before and who was kicked out so the colonists could move in. Well, that would be the Indians. But you can't call yourselves Indians because that's offensive unless you're a member of the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians, which means that you are a real Indian and not offended. Can you think of a name that would not offend someone? I guess they could call themselves the George Washington University Zumwalts. I know what you'd say. Oh, sure, that's something. Just for fun, see if you can think of a mascot name that's not offensive. I honestly couldn't. In the Zumwalt Zone.
We're waking up to an overcast this morning and a slight chance for rain. It's more likely late this afternoon and evening that we'll see the real good rain coming on in. The high in the mid-40s to the north to mid-50s south toward Fayetteville. Rain is likely this evening, but overnight it dries out. It stays cloudy, though, with mid-30s to low 40s. And then tomorrow we have an overcast once again. If we see any rain, it's really in the evening. The high in the low to mid-50s north to mid-50s to the 60s south. I'm Mike Mays in the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills' #1 morning show. Mornings with the Leader Man. Here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
It's Friday.
You know what happened?
This weekend?
What happened?
What happens?
What happens?
Daylight saving time?
We spring forward.
Spring forward. I can't
I'm
wait.
ready. Daylight saving time.
Spring forward to daylight saving.
This weekend?
What have you got to lose?
Yeah, what have you got to lose?
So we lose an hour, right?
We lose an hour. We lose an hour on Sunday.
Lose an hour of sleep.
So we lose an hour of sleep. Sorry.
Set those clocks an hour forward.
What time it was. All I know is that I fell in love with you. And if all my dreams come true, I'll be spending time with you. Every day's a new day.
Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sandhills. It is Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Steve Leader Adams, and don't forget, of course, we are being heard around the world and seen around the world on a live video stream. That's available at talk973.com. Upper right, no, top middle of the page is where that link is. That will get you there. If you're just looking at our audio, it's in the upper right-hand corner of every one of our web pages at Talk 973. Just click that icon that says Listen Live, and you're listening that quick. If you're on your mobile device, you can watch us with your YouTube app. Put Mornings with the Leader Man in there. And if you just want an audio, it's available with many streaming platforms like TuneIn, iTunes, Streama. Put WEEB into that search, and we should appear at the top of your results. Weather for us today here in the Sandhills area. It's going to be last day of, well, no, most of the day it's going to be cloudy, and you might see some light showers here and there. Then it'll get really serious on the showers late today into the night for a high of 51. Then tonight, cloudy rain, likely a low of 42. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with drizzle, high of 58. Tomorrow night, cloudy with a chance of rain, 40% chance. None of this rain will be, an all-night washout. It'll be off and on stuff. Look for a low of 53. Sunday, mostly cloudy. Still the on and off showers possible. Look for a high of 75. And then for Monday, the showers start to taper off for good. It'll be partly cloudy with a high of 66. Tuesday, partly cloudy, 59. Wednesday, partly cloudy, 59. And Thursday, we'll have a slight chance of showers and 68. Right now around the Sandhills, winds are east-northeast at 5. Visibility is at 10 statute miles. Humidity 62%, dew point 29. Pressure is 30-33. It's cloudy and 41 degrees still with scattered showers here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. In this hour, the Colonel Jeff Drummond joins us again, retired Marine.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, let's, where to start? So much to do and so little time to do it. Well, let's start with something like this. You've been married a long time, I guess.
Fairly long. 39 years.
That's good. So you've had a good, long, successful marriage. Recent survey took a look at the most common serious lies we tell in relationships.
Oh, none.
Just over 1 in 4 people admit they do keep secrets from their significant other. A lot of secrets are fairly minor, though. But 5% said they are currently holding on to at least one huge secret that could rock their relationship, so that's 1 in 20 people. Men are almost twice as likely to lie about cheating, and women are far more likely to lie about how much debt they have. The top 5 serious things men lie about are where they are, flirting with other people, having an affair with their shopping habits, and what they want in bed. Top 5 lies women are telling is their shopping habits, where they are, their flirtations, their debt, and having an affair.
Okay.
There you go. Now, you've been Colonel a long time in the Marines, so you probably have heard some really stupid stuff in your life.
Oh, well, I could go on, but I don't think your license would last.
Well, the question becomes, what's the dumbest thing you've heard someone say out loud in public?
Oh.
Someone on Reddit asked people to name some of the dumbest things they've heard someone say in public, and some of the responses pretty amazing. Like, I don't need to get vaccinated. My dad's a chiropractor. It's pretty crazy that Black Friday actually falls on Friday this year.
Oh, yeah.
I'm vegan, but I still eat chicken and turkey. What if you? Does thing come to your mind of all the Marines you've been around?
Well, yeah, but most of it I just don't want to repeat, and it probably wouldn't be appropriate. So I think I'll pass.
Someone at the DMV overheard employees talking about how slow the internet was.
Oh.
Then one of them told the other person to, quote, shake out all the wires because sometimes information gets caught in there.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah, I have.
One animal is a ham.
Mm-hmm.
Earth must be flat because if it were round, it would bounce.
Oh, there are still some flat earthers. You probably have a flat earther listening to your station right now.
Maybe. Phones don't run on electricity. They run on batteries. Mm-hmm. Someone asked a farmer, quote, how long does it take the meat on a cow to grow back so that you can cut more?
That's too much.
Which college did you graduate from?
Barber school, probably.
And someone on the plane ever heard another passenger say, I think this is the same cloud we went through on our last flight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just occurs to me, I apologize if I insulted a barber out there. I shouldn't have said that. How fast does the meat grow back? That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they've gone to campuses before and asked, simple questions. And these are kids that passed high school, passed the SATs, and got into college. And they're asked who won the Civil War.
Oh, yeah.
England, was that right?
It astounds me that our education system it's shot when they're not teaching basic, and it's not even a political event, or it's not a political issue. It's just a plain fact. What happened here and there, and you don't have to get into the politics to understand that these events happen. It's just ridiculous that these things aren't being taught.
Well, it is. And I've said this earlier, that quote of Socrates, this may not be verbatim, but he says the most important job in the world is that of teacher. The most influential job in the world is the person who hires them.
Yeah.
And right now we're hiring a bunch of socialists.
Well, there's a lot of them out there. I don't know about here in Moore County specifically, but obviously when you read the papers about some of these things, like at George Washington University that John just talked about in his Zumwalt zone, it's just ridiculous that these things are going on. But I went to college in the 70s, and those people were showing up then. I mean, we had. I was a political science major. We had two individuals, and if they weren't out-and-out communists, I'll eat my hat right now. And they would push that agenda, and that was back in 74, 75.
Yeah. And how all guns are bad, and you duck down and hide behind a chair when somebody's trying to shoot you.
Well, and yes, and they obviously have no understanding whatsoever about weaponry or arms or any of that.
And won't hear of a teacher carrying a gun.
Well, that's, yeah.
If I knew if I walked into school that someone would be shooting back, I might not walk in that school. If that were my intentions.
Well, it works, and the idea that having a teacher there that will fire back, that's just one more gun added into the equation. But none of that bears out when you look at these various instances where you had shootings going on, or you had an incident go on, and you had someone there with a concealed carry firearm with them, and they acted responsibly. They didn't pull it out and willy-nilly start shooting, etc. In fact, at Gabby Giffords, the congresswoman that was shot, and there was an individual within several feet of her that had a concealed carry firearm with him, and he didn't pull it out and start shooting because he said, I couldn't determine, I didn't see where it was coming from and couldn't figure out what was going on. So he didn't pull his firearm out.
Right.
And that's generally the someone who understands it and is reasonable person responds that way. And there was a guy in a mall. Somebody was shooting in a mall, and he had a firearm, and he pulled it out, and he aimed at the individual shooting, but he didn't fire because he said there were people behind him. And, they were trying to get out of the way and trying to hide, and I didn't want to fire because I was afraid, even if I shot him, it might go through and hit one of these people. So, the idea that that's a reprehensible idea to implement, having an armed teacher, it's just wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
All right. Well, now we solved all that problem.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go on.
Let's see. All right, let's do rim shots this morning. I got them ready, so I might as well use them and try to make you feel a little better on your way to work this morning. All right, rim shots. Where did I put you? Here you are. Stephen Colbert actually beat Jimmy Fallon in a key demographic for the first time ever. Colbert says all the credit goes to his head writer, Donald Trump, of course. Chuck Norris turned 79 today.
Chuck Norris?
Actually, this weekend.
79.
Yeah. Wow. I'm not really sure how that works, though, because according to legend, Chuck gave birth to his parents.
That's right.
Snooki. That's one of your favorite characters from TV.
Oh, jeez.
Says she takes a 30-minute shower. 27 minutes of them are spent passed out, but hey, it's the thought that counts. So
I'm surprised she doesn't drown in the shower.
A man was arrested for breaking into Taylor Swift's Manhattan apartment. He got caught less than a block away because really, how fast can you run when your arms are full of cats, right? And he says he was just trying to fulfill one of his bucket list items to make it into a Taylor Swift song. Queen Latifah says she believes Jussie Smollett. Smollett says he hasn't been this grateful since he found two guys willing to beat him up for money. Al Roker is on a keto diet. Didn't Al just have bypass surgery? And
yeah, he had
that's how he lost all that weight.
Yeah, he did.
Like, what's it? Sharpton. Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton did something, too.
Yeah, he had to bypass. Lost a bunch of weight. So, anyway, that's regular Al Roker plus being on keto. So, yes, he can be even more annoying, I guess. For the first time, the best of Hannah Montana will be available to you on vinyl because, as any true music lover will tell you, you need to hear Hannah Montana on vinyl to truly appreciate just how awful she really is. David Irving of the Dallas Cowboys said the NFL's ban on marijuana is bull poop. Bull dookie.
Yeah.
Well, it certainly is a pretty blunt statement, isn't it? Hey, I can't perform unless I'm high, man.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Well, as they're finding out in Colorado, it's a lot of problem. It's problem all the way across the board. Not even the health issues have been reduced. It's just out of hand.
Well, it's all about the money.
Right. But they didn't get the money they were expecting because people are just now still doing what they've always done, which is grow it and sell it illegally.
Well, they're going... People go back to the underground to get their stuff because the state stuff is just so expensive.
Right.
With all the tax on it and all the regulations on it, it keeps the price so sky high that, the only ones buying are the tourists.
Yep, exactly.
The local folks are still getting it from the dealer.
Yep.
Because it's about a third the price.
Right, and health-wise, it's really causing some problems. They're finding out that the youth, who are not supposed to be buying it, by the way, but it's causing developmental problems, mental problems, and everything else. It's out of hand.
A new study reveals the best way to save Earth from an asteroid, but in the interest of preventing an Armageddon sequel, let's agree not to tell Bruce Willis, okay? Meghan Markle says she'll have a, quote, fluid approach to her child's gender. What the hell does that mean?
Who knows?
Many fathers have fluid approach to their kids, too. When they're around, they reach for a liquor cabinet full of fluids. Today is International Women's Day. Unfortunately, about half of Americans think it's a day honoring waitresses at IHOP. Scientists in London found it's a bad time to laugh when the mouth's full of hot coffee in it. Scientists in London found cocaine in the Thames River. And now fish aren't so upset about all those plastic straws in the water, are they? No.
Oh, boy.
Robert Mueller will reportedly give his report to the Attorney General today. In totally unrelated news, a giant new paper shredder has arrived at the Attorney General's office.
Yeah.
A judge in Virginia judge, well, what it is going to be a big zero for the Democrats' hunt for that connection to Russia. So now they're going to go after, they'll start 50 other investigations.
Well, the Congress will, yeah, the House will, but I'm just wondering what the Attorney General's going to come up with that may be outside of the the Russia collusion thing and maybe look at some of the other criminal activity that has been perpetrated by the special counsel. Maybe that's what needs to be looked into.
That would be good. Yeah, put fair play into fair play.
Right. Yeah. Let's take a hard look at some stuff here.
A Virginia judge gave Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort, what many legal analysts consider a very light sentence of 47 months in prison.
Right.
Hey, I can't get my case. Can I get my case transferred to that judge? Robert Kraft asked his attorney. President Trump tweeted that he might skip the debates because the Democrats won't allow Fox News to host any of them. And he's backed up on this by his friend, Tim Apple. You have to understand, Tim, where he called, you know about that one?
I just read it in passing.
Yeah, he called, I forget Tim's last name, but he's the CEO of Apple. And
right.
Anyway, misspoke. Anyway, that's our rim shots for today. By the way, we set the clocks forward this Sunday.
Oh, is it this Sunday?
Yeah. Several lawmakers are considering switching to daylight savings times year-round.
One or the other. Just pick it and stay with it. Just one or the other.
I like it like it is right this second.
That would work for me. The other way works for me. Just leave it alone.
Here are 4 ways that it could make life better. Lives might be saved. The evening rush hour is more dangerous for a couple of reasons. There are more people on the road. There's a greater chance of alcohol being in people's bloodstreams, and more kids are outside playing.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
so having an extra hour of sunlight in the evening could reduce car accidents with pedestrians. In fact, a study by Rutgers Research found that 343 lives could be saved every year if we switch to a year-round daylight savings time.
All right. Well, that's a rational approach, and that's fine with me. Just stay with it. Just do it, man. It's ridiculous doing this hour back and forth. And we already have a couple of localities in the United States that don't change. They've done it on their own.
Right.
Small areas, but there are a few.
Crime could decrease. Criminals like darkness, but in 2013, a study found that more light in the evening could reduce crime by up to 20%. It especially helps the juveniles who are more likely to commit crime after school in the early evening hours.
Yeah, it's an even better reason.
Energy might be saved. When the sun is out later, there is less demand for energy to light and heat homes and businesses. When the sun rises earlier during standard time, a lot of people aren't even awake yet.
Is that part of the green weenie plan that AOC came up with?
Who knows?
Well, there's an opportunity to implement something that actually makes sense, and they probably don't have it in there.
Our sleep would get messed up twice a year, no matter whether you prefer standard time or daylight savings time. Changing the clocks twice a year is bad for our health. It disrupts our sleep, heart attack increase, and one study even found it negatively affected the financial markets.
The financial markets? All right, well, if all of that is true or any of that is true, that's a good reason just to stay with it then. I agree. Let's do it.
Well,
I'm sending a letter to Trump.
Well, I have to get up. I agree with keeping it the daylight standard time.
Okay, that's fine.
Because I get every time it changes, I have to be here at the station 2 a.m. to resync everything back together.
Exactly. There are so many ridiculous things that go on when you have to change those clocks. And I mean, there's a fine example of it because businesses are all tied to this. Hey, Trump has a pen and a phone, right? So I'm going to call him up. Or do you have his number, right? Are you on his speed dial? Let me have his number, and I'll give him a call, and we'll see if we can get something going on this pretty quick.
Well, it would be nice if we could. Let's see. What else we got this morning? I tell you what, let's do. We didn't do it last time you were here, so I don't think. Anyway, we'll we'll go get some bad guys.
Oh, all right. My pretty, and your little dog, too.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you had that.
All right, my friends, it's time once again. You get up out of that chair and strut the floor like you own it in the style of the Duke. John Wayne, go over to your closet. Open up those closet doors, look at all 30 of your Liberty safes. Today we'll go to Liberty safe number 16. And open that bad boy
I'm going to give you a 44 Colt Dragoon. You don't need a permit for that. But don't put it under your hairy armpit.
All right, we'll put it into this little holster and pin on our badge, grab 5 cans of some Super Whoop Ass, and out the door we go in relentless pursuit of some stupid criminal news. Stupid criminal news number 1 this morning. Patience is a virtue. And it's not nearly as common as it used to be, and it's not an issue here. It's worldwide. A woman in Germany called the police yesterday and said her husband had been murdered. But when they showed up at the scene, he was fine. Turned out she was just claimed he had been murdered because she thought they show up faster and tow a car that was blocking her driveway.
Great. Wonderful.
No, ma'am, if he's dead, we got to call in the murder detectives.
And the car's going to stay right where it is.
It takes longer. She was drunk at the time. Now we're really surprised, aren't we?
Alcohol's involved.
And tried to get into her car to drive away, but they stopped her. She's facing a large fine, possible criminal charges, and misusing, of course, 911. Stupid criminal news number 2 this morning. I don't know if this guy saw the humor of what he was doing, but we do. 29-year-old Rafael Rosario had been working as a security guard at a CVS in Springfield, Massachusetts. And he was arrested Wednesday for selling cocaine in the parking lot, meaning he'd been dealing drugs outside a drugstore. Undercover police were working on a different case, but just so happened to spot a drug deal going down. Then they found 2 bags of cocaine in the car, along with about $600 in cash. He's now facing charges for distribution of a Class B substance and possession of a Class B substance with intent to distribute. And that, my friends, is your stupid criminal news for this Friday. Okay. It is 8:51, 51 past the hour. The colonel already has his arm in the air because he knows what's coming next.
Oh, great.
As we get everybody's favorite round of this in.
And now it's time for...
Random facts.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, random facts for today, Colonel. Plus a spare if you're good. If I get my Windows to cooperate with us and play radio. There's a statue at Harvard University that says John Harvard, founder, 1638. All that's wrong. John Harvard was a benefactor, not the founder. Harvard was founded in 1636, and the statue is actually of a man named Sherman Hoar, H-O-A-R.
Hoar, right. That's an old name up there. That's interesting. So Harvard has it wrong once again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jenga means to build in Swahili. The woman who invented the game was born in Guyana and came up with it when she lived there. And she wouldn't let Hasbro change the name when they bought it from her.
Okay. Well, that's
seems
good.
to have worked out.
Yeah.
The The guy who created Sherlock Holmes, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, was friends with Harry Houdini.
Yes.
They wound up hating each other after a fight over whether Houdini had magical powers. Right. Houdini swore he didn't. Doyle swore he did.
Right, yeah, they got into that spiritual thing. Yeah. There was quite a back and forth with them, I've read.
Well, that's the first I've heard of it. Yeah. How out of the touch of mind?
Well, it's amazing how all those people, you know, all intersected in various social groups back in the day.
All right, there are 8 Hawaiian islands, but you can only visit 2 of them. One is this nature reserve that has been used to be a military test site, and one's privately owned by a family that rarely allows visitors. Right. And Pizza, wow, there are 8 islands, you can only visit 2. I thought there were like 3 or 4 you could visit. I thought you could visit them all except one.
No, the military one, I think.
That was the one owned by the private people.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They call them. I heard it was a native tribe there, and only with their permission could you come on the island.
Yeah, I've never had a Hawaii tour, so I'm not familiar with everything. But there were military installations on several of those, 4 or 5 at least that I can think of, and they closed them up as they drew down after World War II, et cetera. World War II, they were all occupied, and they had airplanes or float planes out there looking for submarines and things like that. So
Okay. All right. Well, we learned something today. And finally, Pizza Hut uses 3% of all cheese produced in the U.S.
That's interesting.
That's a lot of pizza.
It is.
Well, they put the cheese in everything, on the pizza, in the crust.
Right, yeah, they do.
Breadsticks, you name it. You got cheese stuffed in it somewhere. All right. Philosophical question here. We got time? Yeah. If you take a half, well, let's do something else. That's boring stuff. Let's do the fun stuff, shall we? Today's a possible question.
Uh-oh. I'm lousy at these.
Well, you're supposed to be. That's why they call it impossible. All righty. Let's see how you do. Once in a while, you hit on one, but we'll see if you can do it today. Over the span of a year, on average, you'll do this 3 times a day. What is it?
Span of a year, 3 times on average, once a day. 3 times. No. During the day.
I know for a fact you've already done it once today.
I don't know. Brush my teeth.
You brush your teeth 3 times a day, on average?
No, I don't. Some people do.
Go somewhere in the car is the answer. 7% of us have a fear of wearing bowling shoes. Research shows that dimming the lights reduces the risk of this.
Dimming the lights, getting a headache.
Having a fight with your partner.
Having a fight with your partner.
A recent study found that 73% of the people sleep with this.
A teddy bear.
Their smartphone.
Oh, God. Come on. Can't put it down long enough to
73%.
Sleep. Good Lord.
The average person will buy a gift from someone if they don't like about 4 times. That makes sense. The average person will buy a gift for someone they don't like about 4 times before the end of the year.
No, well, not me.
The recent survey finds 27% of the people only clean the inside of this before they go on a trip.
The oven.
The car.
The car.
39% of the people say this is their least big money purchase. I'm sorry, it's their latest big money purchase.
Oh, probably a smartphone.
Mattress.
A mattress. That's big money? How much do they cost?
Well, it just depends on how many features you want.
Yeah.
I mean, they got the kind that will rise up when you say, and And you can also make your partner rise up so he doesn't snore.
Oh, that's right. I've seen that commercial.
You've seen that?
Yeah.
I'm sure those get pretty expensive.
Oh, yeah, they probably are.
And every day in the U.S., 5 bicycle riders are injured riding into this.
5 bicycle riders injured riding into the gutter.
The open car door. The open car door trick.
Okay. Well, I don't ride around in the city. So.
All right. Well, so it goes for this Friday. Have yourself a great, safe weekend. We'll see you back bright and early on Monday for a Monday. Until then, be sure to support all the mom and pop businesses you hear on our airways because they are the backbone of our economy here in Moore County. Your money will stay here, roll over, and create jobs. And don't forget, millions of Americans have fought and they have died to give and protect the freedoms that you get to enjoy today. Live today worthy of their and their family sacrifice. I'm Steve Leader Adams and the Leader Man, and Nick and Colt the dog. We'll all see you at 2 o'clock this afternoon at the Cloudy Dog Park.